The Boys is a new TV series that has dropped on Amazon Prime. All 8 episodes went on at once, which is a little bit unusual for Amazon because normally they release episodes week on week. But it was a good thing that they put all of The Boys episodes out at once. It is based on the Garth Ennis comic book series, all of which are somewhere behind me. And when I say it's based on the comic book series, it really is based on it. It's not a direct adaptation. I know a lot of people might be annoyed or disappointed or angry with that, but that's what it is. It is, in very much the sense of the word, it's based on it. It takes the idea of The Boys and develops it into something of its own, which I was initially sceptical about, but once I watched the series I realised that's actually the best course of action they could have taken. Otherwise they would just burn through ideas and it would be very samey and they'd run out of steam very quickly. The original comic book series had loads of hardcore sort of sexual acts, innuendos, things occurring, loads of violence and swearing and gore. This has very, very, very modest sexual things going on. There's a scene where it's akin to sort of rape or let's say a man forcing a woman or coercing her unfriendly to give him a blowjob in order to stay in her job. That happens in the book but with a different character. And then there's very little in the way of sex thereafter. Same with violence. There's very little actual sort of super violence in it. There are violent things, there's lots of there are gory things when it happens and it is gross and fun and all of those things, but there's, it's much more story based. We follow Huey, whose girlfriend is killed by a super when he just runs straight through. He's like the Flash, A-Train, he just runs straight through her and kills her, and he is obviously upset and doesn't like the way that he's treated by Vought International, the large company that sort of runs and owns lots of superheroes in this universe. The worst of which, or the most famous of which, is the Homelander, who is basically Superman. It's a fun story that it tells. It follows Huey as he gets drawn in by a character called Butcher, who's played by Carl Urban, who has his own reasons for hating supers. He's a sort of former CIA operative who, along with a load of his friends who we meet along the way, is trying to bring down supers. You find out it's because his wife was raped by a super, and then in a surprise twist at the end of the series that isn't it again in the books, and we find out his wife is alive and has had the son of the super, the Homelander, who raped her. That took me by surprise because I just didn't expect that at all. I thought, like the books, she was dead because the baby was a super baby and he crawled out of her and killed her. There are some changes with the characters that I wasn't 100% on board with. Mother's Milk, they don't make any reference to him having any strength or ability, or his mum being changed by Compound V, which is the substance that gives people their superpowers. None of the boys themselves have any access to Compound V or any knowledge of its existence till sort of early on in this series, so therefore they don't all have the ability to fight supers on an even level. In the books they get this Compound V and it makes them sort of strong and durable so they can go toe to toe with the supers. That's sort of put on the back burner. Whether that will come in later series, we'll have to see. And the female gets a different origin story, which I think was nice for her. It's, you see you a bit more sympathetic side to Frenchie and the female, and it develops their relationship a little bit better. It's certainly worth watching. It's written in such a way that it's very easy to binge. All the episodes flow very nicely and you feel satisfied watching each one. You always feel like the story's developed and something's pushed on. The acting's good, everyone knows the kind of show that they're in, they all play it straight, there's no sort of nods and winks to camera. The only thing that sort of took me out of it slightly was Huey's dad being Simon Pegg, and he's only in there because Simon Pegg was who the character of Huey was originally drawn to look like. And he's just got a very jarring and crap American accent. Speaking of accents, Carl Urban, his character Butcher is meant to be English. I thought for the first half hour when he was talking that they were just playing him as Australian, and I said to my wife, well, that's good, they've made him just use his natural accent. It's not, no, it's meant to be an English accent, but it drifts between Australian and really poor quality English accent, and I'd rather they just left him as Australian. It wouldn't make a blind bit of difference really to the story, but it just, like, you think, oh, Karl Urban, let yourself down there. But other than that, it's a great series, really worth watching. It's rated 18, I think, because of some of the sort of edgier things that it infers about the media and rape and publicity and things like that. And it's definitely not for kids, but it's certainly not a hard or heavy watch. It's a real fun show to watch and enjoy. And it's refreshing from all the sort of Marvel stuff that's out there as well. And I hope they have a second series for it.